Los Angeles wasn't always the shimmering capital of dreams that draws millions towards its shining horizon. Before the studios, before the stars, before the giant white letters clung to the hillside like a promise, Los Angeles was a dusty edge of the American frontier, a town caught between eras, where adobe bricks still held the memory of Spain and Mexico, even as railroads brought in the ambitions of the United States. In 1880, Los Angeles was not yet a destination, it was a possibility, and to walk its streets then is to witness a city balancing between past and future, a place just beginning to breathe the air that would one day feed a global imagination. From a distance, Los Angeles in 1880 rises slowly from a wide basin of rolling hills and open fields. The San Gabriel Mountains watch over the valley like ancient sentinels, their dusty ridges glowing gold at sunset, shading into purple as the day slips away. The air is warm and dry, perfumed with the scent of sagebrush and citrus blossoms. A faint breeze carries dust across the open roads, the land itself seeming to shift and sigh beneath a sky so wide it makes every human ambition feel small. No skyline breaks the horizon. No film sets sprawl across the hillsides. The future Hollywood hills are simply Cahuenga Valley, quiet and empty, their slopes grazed by cattle and dotted with oak. Coyotes yip in the early evenings, and rattlesnakes warm themselves on sun-baked rocks. The land here feels ancient, untouched, as though no one could imagine that these rugged hills would one day host film palaces, studio backlots, and 1,000 stories projected around the world. Down in the basin, the heart of Los Angeles beats slowly. The city center is little more than a compact cluster of streets, a settlement defined not by towers, but by adobe houses, dusty plazas, wooden storefronts, and wandering chickens. Olvera Street, later romanticized as the birthplace of Los Angeles, is still a working district, filled with the mingled sounds of Spanish and English, the smells of tamales steaming beside Yankee bakeries. Horses clop through the narrow lanes, pulling wagons heavy with crops from the nearby ranchos, grapes, corn, beans, and the famously sweet oranges that will soon transform the region. The plaza is small but lively. A bandstand rises at its center, where musicians perform on feast days, their trumpets and guitars echoing into the evening air. Mexican families in bright shawls gather for conversation, as American newcomers, dressed in stiff coats and broad hats, climb down from dusty stagecoaches, looking around with a mix of curiosity and calculation. Los Angeles is changing. Everyone can feel it, though no one can yet name what it will become. On the edge of town stands the old mission, Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Ángeles, its whitewashed walls cracked by sunlight and time. Candle smoke clings to the rafters, the air heavy with incense and memory. Here, the past feels close, a reminder that this land once belonged to Spain, then Mexico, long before the United States took it under its flag. Processions wind through the streets during holy days, the voices of parishioners lifting into the warm night, the sound carrying like prayer across the open fields beyond. Los Angeles in 1880 is a crossroads of worlds. Spanish landowners ride their horses along old ranchero trails. Indigenous Tongva communities still live along the riverbanks, their history older than any mission or nation. Chinese laborers, newly settled after working on the railroads, establish small shops and laundries. African American families arrive from the South, hoping to shape new lives far from Reconstruction's broken promises. Women in long skirts sweep dust from the thresholds of adobe homes, and children of every language run through the narrow streets, chasing one another through a tangle of cultures that coexist, uneasily at times, harmoniously at others. English, Spanish, and Chinese characters mingle on wooden shop signs. Street vendors call out in multiple tongues, offering fresh tortillas, citrus fruits, roasted peanuts, chunks of ice shipped down from the Sierra Nevada. The air is full of possibility, but beneath it runs tension, questions of land ownership, identity, and cultural memory that will shape Los Angeles for generations. It is a city defined by layers, each century painting over the last, yet never fully erasing what came before. The rhythm of life is slow and steady. Mornings begin early, the sun climbing over the hills, washing the adobe walls in pale gold. Farmers gather at the plaza with baskets of grapes and crates of oranges. Children run barefoot across dusty yards. Blacksmiths hammer iron into horseshoes, sparks flying from their forges like tiny stars in daylight. By midday, the heat presses down. The streets shimmer. Dogs sleep in the shade beneath wooden verandas. Dust hangs in the air like a fine mist, settling on coat sleeves and wagon wheels. Everything slows beneath the relentless sun, and Los Angeles feels suspended, stretched between its past as a Spanish pueblo and its future as a booming American city. Then evening comes, and the town wakes again. Lanterns flicker to life, casting warm pools of light across the plaza. Music drifts through the streets, violins, guitars, voices raised in laughter. Lovers walk together beneath the stars, their steps echoing across narrow lanes. The air cools, the cicadas quiet. Somewhere in the distance, a train whistle sounds, a reminder of the change racing toward the city like a breath of future wind. In 1876, just 4 years earlier, the Southern Pacific Railroad stretched its iron tracks into Los Angeles, linking this quiet frontier town to the rest of the nation. By 1880, the city is still adjusting to the shock. Steam whistles blow through the dawn, sending white plumes into the pale sky. Fresh settlers step down onto the platform, blinking at the sunlight and brushing dust from their coats, their dreams heavier than their luggage. Some come seeking land. Others come seeking health, the dry climate rumored to cure anything from asthma to heartbreak. Land speculators follow close behind, waving pamphlets that promise paradise for a price. The population grows, slowly at first, then rapidly. Streets that once saw only horses now echo with the grinding wheels of trolleys. Orange orchards expand across the basin, vineyards spread in neat rows, their harvests destined for local sellers and distant train cars alike. The scent of citrus becomes the smell of Los Angeles, the taste of its prosperity. Yet even as the city begins to expand, entertainment remains simple. Rodeos, fiestas, horse races, musical gatherings in the plaza. The idea of moving pictures, of flickering images capturing dreams, has not yet reached these hills. But something stirs beneath the surface, as though the land itself waits for imagination to bloom. To walk towards the Cahuenga Valley, the future Hollywood, is to leave the bustle of town behind. The dirt road stretches outward, rising gently into rolling hills covered with oak and chaparral. There are no lights here at night, only stars. Coyotes move through the brush. A ranch house stands alone, smoke rising softly from its chimney, its windows glowing like eyes against the darkness. No one could guess that one day these hills would echo with the calls of film directors, the clatter of cameras, the shouts of stagehands. No one could imagine that thousands would travel here to reinvent themselves beneath California's sun. In 1880, the hills are simply hills. Silent, rugged, open. But the silence is a canvas, and the openness feels like potential.